let's get to it. Hey, I'm Angela Walters from Quilting is My Therapy. In my last video, I introduced you to my 3 new rulers that I designed with Creative Grids. But in this video, I'm going to introduce you to Taj. I'm going to show you how to use Taj as an all-over design for blocks and borders. But most importantly, we'll talk about how to get those nice sharp points when you're machine quilting with rulers. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'll tell you how to get some free PDF resource sheets that show you exactly how to create the designs that you see in the video, plus examples of the quilts that I show you. So lots of quilty eye candy. But as you know, it's not always what's on the outside that counts. What's on the inside is pretty important as well. And the inside is cut out to use it to create a meander. And in fact, that's the first thing I'm going to show you. You'll start by positioning the ruler in the direction that you want to quilt your shape. Once you have it in position, I'm just going to press down on my foot. And then quilt the other side, returning to the starting point. Now if I'm wanting to quilt this as a meander, I'm going to travel along the ruler. At that point, I can go ahead and reposition my ruler so I quilt another shape going in a different direction. Backtracking is easy because my ruler stays in the same position. I'm going to reposition my ruler, ensuring that it doesn't cross over a previously quilted design. Travel along. We can see here I'm starting to get the first part of my meander. If you're not sure how far to travel, you can use these markings along the side as a guide. They'll give you a reference point on how far to go. Reposition and do it again. There will be situations where your ruler or your quilting will overlap a previously quilted design. I can still quilt my design, the only difference is I'll stop when I run into something else. Stopping, backing up, and then quilting my next one. If necessary, you can travel along a whole side of it so that you can quilt them so they're in a row. The trick is to remember to use traveling to go in different directions and to know that when you're finished, all you'll see is that whole overall texture. Look how cute that is, that leafy kind of meander. And of course, you can use Taj on a long arm as well. Isn't that so fun? Oh, it just makes it so easy, especially if you're a newer quilter or you just have trouble with that shape. Now stick around to the end of the video because in the quilting samples, I'm going to show you what that design looks like filled in with pebbles. Here's a spoiler alert, it looks fantastic. And now that you've seen just a small bit of what you can do on the inside of the ruler, let's explore what the outside of the Taj Ruler has to offer. This shape is actually pretty tricky to freehand because it looks best when it's symmetrical on both sides. But what happens to me is I quilt one side perfectly and the next side, let's just say, not so good. So Taj is going to help me keep both sides symmetrical. Place the edge along the seam and quilt along the first side of the ruler. And don't be afraid to reposition your hands if necessary. And then we're going to come to that point. Once I get to the point, I'm going to come around the other side. I'm going to reposition my hands, working my way slowly around the ruler until I come all the way to the other seam. I'm just going to move the ruler so that now it's up against the right side of the foot, and then repeat. Going around the point is going to give you a rounded kind of curvier top to your shape. And I like how that looks, but if you want it to be pointy, one thing you can do is come right up to the edge, and instead of going around it, just scoot the ruler over slightly so that now the point is on the other side, and then come right back down. That'll make that shape just a little bit shorter, but you'll have that nice point. And we have the first part of our design. What I'm going to do is travel over and repeat the shape so that it fills in between the previously quilted ones. So if this were my seam, I would travel along the edge of it, use my ruler, except this time I'll be aligning it on the other side, using that previous quilting as a guide. And now we have an even more complex looking design for the borders to add a curvy, pointy look to our quilts. And why just use one side or the other? You can combine the two to create some really cool looking designs. You can combine it with the outside and the inside to create interesting motifs. You can just use half of the ruler to give your thinner borders a totally different look. Or try echoing and overlapping to get even more interesting effects. But there's no way I'm going to design a ruler that just does a couple of things. This is such a versatile ruler. I have just a few quilting examples to show you what can be done with it. Quilt along the center and then rotate to make a motif. Or quilt that petal shape all in a row. Perfect for smaller sashings and borders. One of my favorites is using it to create a meander and then filling in with pebbles for a really fun look. And if all that seems a little overwhelming, don't worry. I have a free resource PDF that you can get when you purchase the ruler that shows you exactly how to quilt all those designs I've shown you. But that's not it. I also have more videos that show you how to use it on an actual quilt. So if you want to master Taj as well as your other rulers, be sure to check those videos out, because by the time you're done, you'll be a ruler ninja and you'll have a finished quilt. Plus, we get to quilt along on the same project. That's pretty fun. In my next video, I'll introduce you to my ruler named Chevy, and I'll tell you why that ruler is causing a little bit of a family conflict.